everybody. Everybody over there in the food court, there's some complimentary coffee and snacks here from Team Konica Minolta. Thank you so much. It was very generous of you to contribute to the afternoon snackage of the Printiverse. We do appreciate a coffee break. Hashtag coffee. We love our coffee in the Printiverse. As a matter of fact, I saw decaffeinated coffee yesterday. I was like, how did that get into my booth? But then I realized I ordered.
You?
I know.
I
actually had a conniption. I'm like, why is there decaffeinated coffee? But I ordered 3 real ones and 1 little one for those.
For those that need.
For those crazy people.
Why would you bother drinking coffee? Okay.
I don't know. I told them to drink water, quite frankly. So thank you so much, and also this is your first year in the Printiverse.
This is.
So
yes,
thank
indeed.
you so much for your support.
Thank you.
For wanting to have conversations directly with the community. Konica Minolta wanted to have some dedicated time to speak to the Printiverse, to the people out there. And I spent some time with you at the CPP Expo, which is actually why this is happening.
Right.
Because you had some really cool stuff that made sense, or that will make sense for a lot of people. And that's what the Printiverse is about, just providing options. And you have some pretty cool options, and options that also help the end user. You know, I'm a little obsessed with your software product, but I'll let you, announce all that. Please tell everybody who you are, what you do at Konica Minolta, and let's start with how Konica is helping its customers make money.
Absolutely. So my name is Eric Holdo. I'm the Vice President of the Graphic Communications and Industrial Print line of business for Konica Minolta. I've been in the production print business for 30 years. I've run a print shop, I've owned a couple of them, and everything that I do from a day-to-day basis is all about trying to find points of differentiation for our clients that are trying to make money with the equipment that we sell. And we want to partner with our clients to do that. So my responsibility is the entire graphic communications and production print, industrial print portfolio as the line of business VP. So everything from the software solutions that we do to the products themselves falls under my area. So really, I think where we do our best work is finding ways that printers can make more money, doing things maybe a different way, maybe a better way. We try not to be the also-ran, doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And that's sort of evidenced if you look at some of our directions, for example, with our KM1 product, which is our high-speed UV inkjet 23 by 29 inch press. That was really targeted towards a very high-quality image and really not the transactional sort of fast inkjet marketplace. So we do things a little differently, and I think we do it very well.
I also think that, everybody has their lanes, and I find you like, I'm going to say like a working class lane, I mean, and I mean that as a compliment, and I hope, like you're servicing those people who have real needs in the real world, not these necessarily brand dreams. I'm going to buy a machine and all of a sudden, a major soda company is going to call me or anything like that. You're kind of dealing with the boots in the ground customers, and one of the reasons that I was gravitated to you guys is because of your talk tracks. Because they're very human and they're very based in reality, not a dream world. It's like, okay, we know what you need to do, and we're going to help you do it better, smarter, faster, more economical. I know, I should be proud of it.
Right, exactly.
So why don't we, did you have any launches at the show? Let's start there.
Yes, so now last year we showed some of our MGI products. And we own 40.5% of MGI, and it's a very, very tight alliance between MGI and Konica Minolta to the extent that 50% of my staff actually works with the MGI portfolio of products. And what we have is a product called the 3D Evolution, which is a varnish, spot varnish, dimensional varnish, or embossed varnish if you want, and foil device all in one system. It doesn't print, it actually prints on the prints you're already making. So it goes up to a 29 by 45 inch sheet. So you can do sheets coming off of a press, sheets coming off of a Konica Minolta product, a toner product, even sheets coming off of
Are
some
these
of
the
those.
samples?
Yeah. So even sheets coming off of something like, well, an indigo, for example.
Right.
We can lay down spot varnish foil directly on top of that. So here are some examples of overprinting. Now these actually were produced.
This is cool.
Yeah, right. This is a soft touch lamb type
Jamie.
piece, and these were done on the KM1. So this is done on our inkjet press, and then we came back and did the embellishment on it. So the embellishment is both spot varnish that's dimensional and tactile, as well as in some cases we threw down just foil as well. So in the India one there's foil and spot varnish. And it actually comes in 2 passes when we do that, because in the first pass we actually lay down the foil using the varnish as the glue, if you will, for the foil, and then we run it back through, and people say, well, wait, can you run that back through and maintain registration and all that? And that actually leads to one of the awards that we got on that product, which is an automatic artificial intelligence sensing array that every sheet as it goes into the system is registered based on the artwork location. So you're not working with crop marks or registration points. It's actually looking at the artwork at thousands of points on the artwork, and it's laying down the spot varnish and the foil exactly where it's supposed to be. So I could literally skew a sheet as it's going through the device, and it will perfectly lay down that image. That allows us to do things like lay down foil on top of foil, on top of varnish, on top of foil, on top of foil. So we've actually gone up to 7 layers of foil on top of each other, building up a dimensional appearance, and even going as high as 500 microns in height. So that's even being used in things like Braille, for example. So a lot of different applications, but it's all about how the printer's going to make money. And so with these products, the thing we're very sensitive to is what's the ROI look like. And the amazing thing is with these jet varnish products, if you have a need for this product, if you're sending out work today for traditional foil where you're creating a die and everything else, this is where you make a lot of money, because we don't want the market to compress prices. The price compression is the enemy of our industry, and the race to the bottom, if you will, is the enemy of the industry. We have to maintain prices, but we'll make a lot more money when you're producing the foil digitally like this, just in setup time and in overall turn time on the piece. And it's very cost effective. It's using standard foils, so it just has some release characteristics that we need with the foil, but so it's really a phenomenal product. So we launched the Evo. We've also launched a web version of it. It's a 17-inch narrow web version, and we've launched some other products such as our 6100 with the IQ 501, and this is really the first push-button G7 calibration system that's been released to the market. You press one button literally, and depending on what your target calibration or linearization of the device is, it does it by itself. It will calibrate, it will linearize, and it will even profile stocks with the press of a button. And for me to calibrate, linearize, and profile a stock, the entire process takes about 14 sheets and about 12 minutes, as opposed to 300 different steps that are in a manual that's 150 pages long. And so it's a revolutionary new technology with our IQ 501 on the Konica Minolta 6100 system.
So every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, I have a print chat.
Yes.
And one of our print chatters is Jamie McClellan, who's from Allegra, Princeton, and he's a real printer. And I brought him.
Printer.
He's a real printer. He's a real guy, a real printer. We describe him as a one-stop print shop. He's got a multitude of equipment, so he's neutral in this game. And you don't even call yourself a salesperson. You're a creative print strategist, and he really is, which is why I love him, because he's all about the application. So Jamie's job is actually to sit here, listen to panels, and ask questions, and he asks questions.
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
Good.
I know you mentioned a couple different presses. This can run this technology. Can you use it on offset? Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
So I can be laying down on offset, on aquasinks, on UV, on toner. There are some instances where if I've got heavy coverage, and depending on the technology that's being used, I may want to run a true coating afterwards just to raise the dye level, especially if I'm using PVCs or something like that. I may need to raise that dye level to an acceptable level, but other than that, we really have not seen many limitations. Now, if I'm varnishing on something that is uncoated, then you always have a challenge of the UV soaking in. So we have developed pre-treatments that we can take those stocks that don't change the characteristics of an uncoated stock. So the uncoated stock still looks uncoated even though it actually has a coating to it. Yeah.
Another question? Does anyone else have a question? We'd like to take questions. Anyone?
So I'll also mention some other things that we launched in
Yes, please.
This year. So we've also launched our entire ecosystem of software solutions. And part of these software solutions are doing things like new production management solutions that really drive either single site or multi-site print shops. And within those solutions, we have cloud-based color management that allows me to look at every single press, whether it is a Konica Minolta press or not, whether it's offset or not, and allow me to check the status and condition of that press. Is it up to color? If I'm using G7, is it at G7 standards? I can monitor that across in the cloud across multiple sites. And then if I've got a device that's going out of spec, I can actually create device profiles, device link profiles to bring it back into spec for that particular run. So really lets me optimize the entire operation. Then we have production management below that ties into MIS. We have new tools in the web to print arena. We have new tools like DaVinci, which is I know one of your favorite products, that when it comes to creating these types of samples that I just passed out, one of the challenges is always creating the masks. And the masks and being able to upsell a client to use foil or to use spot varnishes is difficult if I can't show them what it looks like. And this allows us to actually create the masks on the fly, either using my pre-press person in-house, or my clients can do it themselves if I connect in via an API into the DaVinci system. So that it can be used either way. So a printer, if he's using it in-house, he can create the masks. He can create a mask for dimensional, for the foil, for every component, and not have to spend hours with Photoshop. So we've timed it. It's an average of about 8 to 10 masks an hour that a pre-press operator can make with these types of tools.
You impressed Jamie the printer.
That's good. That's good. So anyway, we'd encourage you. We have a solutions theater in the booth. It's 2031.
It's on your table tent. We're very handy around
2031. I was right. 2031. And we have a solutions theater there. We decided this year not to do individual kiosks, and we're actually presenting everything in that theater form. And then we have the Ask the Expert table, and they can talk about really anything in between, because the solutions we brought in start from intake of a job, no matter how that job's coming in, and it goes all the way out to delivery validation and to final delivery. And even beyond that, we have a solution actually for customers that are dealing with folks that ship a lot. Shipping is one of those costs that keeps going up year over year over year, and people really don't know what to do about it. Sometimes, and I know from a very, very large printer that we are working on with this, they thought they were getting preferred rates because they had a national contract with one of the overnight carriers. And they were convinced, well, we have preferred pricing, that no one can get better pricing than we do. And we said, really, what about the accessorial charges you're being charged? And they're like, the what? Well, they get 350 pages in their statement, whether it's emailed or sent manually. And what they didn't realize is about the last 200 of them are accessorial charges, 71 different sets of individual charges that the overnight carriers charge that you can't plan for. And they don't tell you. If you go through their systems and use their shipping software, it doesn't tell you that it's going to charge you an accessorial. things that are simple, like, for example, if I leave off a suite number and I'm delivering to a certain company or a certain person within a certain company, and the suite number's not there, I get charged $12.50. It doesn't take long for all of a sudden, if I'm shipping out a lot of packages, whether it's print work or whether it's packaging or whatever it might be, it doesn't take long for that to really add up.
It's like those municipal charges on your cable bill.
You're wondering where these things coming from.
Right, all I did was buy HBO, and now I've got a 17-page statement with 17 cents here and 20 cents here.
Exactly. So this solution actually sits in the middle between you and the printing of the label, and not only does it eliminate the accessorials, which it guarantees, by the way. So if you get hit with an accessorial, they pay for it, because then they reverse engineer why the accessorial occurred and add it into the solution so it doesn't get hit again. So we guarantee that the accessorials are picked off. And by the way, they're about 20% of the cost of shipping. So if somebody who ships a lot, all of a sudden the CFO comes downstairs and he says, "Why is our shipping costs? I thought we were shipping this stuff and charging the clients. Why are we losing money? Why is my shipping revenue this and my expense this?" And it's because of these accessorial charges.
Right.
So we have a very simple way to find out if a company is getting those accessorial charges, and then a 30-day trial of using the solution. And if it saves the money, it's obviously a good solution. So
Cool.
Again, that's just trying to make that printer more effective.
Okay, Sandy, did you have a question? I got it.
Jet varnish? Oh, we were meant.
Okay, we had moved on from her. Eric had actually answered her question while in that last answer. So,
good.
So sorry about that. Jamie, question?
No.
Okay, so go.
So anyway, so the accessorial charges, that's something we call e-bliss, because you reach shipping nirvana. Never mind. That's what it's called. It's called e-bliss, and that again, being able to what? It also does another thing
You
though.
just
This
have
is
like
kind of
these
interesting.
weird
Names, I know.
things you're like spewing
Weird-
out
weird-
asbestos charges. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Accessorial.
Well, all I hear is ass in the middle of that. That's
Yeah, well, trust me, if you see them on your statement, you wouldn't like it either.
Right.
But one of the other things it does, by the way, is if you ship, have you ever shipped something and it was supposed to get there at 10 o'clock and maybe it got there at 10:01, maybe it didn't? Now, that 1 minute may not mean much to you, and you're like, well, it got there pretty much when I needed it to get there. You're actually due a full refund of that shipment. And what happens is when people are shipping a lot, guess what? No one's going back and checking to make sure that those were done.
Right.
So the software automatically tracks it and automatically files all the paperwork, so it appears as a credit back on your overnight carrier's bill.
All right, let's stop talking about that.
Okay.
Because I'm just.
That's a way to make money, by the way.
I know it's a way to make money, but
Okay.
let's get on to the juicy, sexy
Okay.
stuff, because that's what the Printerverse is for. The title of this event is called Konica Minolta: The New Value in Print.
Yep.
So I want to know what your vision is for the next 5 years. I want you to tell these attendees why they should buy into the Konica Minolta, Team Konica Minolta, and your vision of the future, and how you're going to help them grow from now until the rest of the days of their business.
Well, it's a loaded question. There's a few different parts to it, but it starts with just the overall process. I mean, we've been doing lean assessments now for several years, where we utilize lean methodologies. We're not implementing lean, but we're using the methodologies of value-added versus non-value-added steps, and determining where the wastes are in the process. And we have to build the foundation strong of that production floor and that entire operation before we can load it with other services that you want to do. And what we actually find is a lot of customers that think they need more equipment don't. They just need the better processes underneath it. So that's sort of where we start with things. But as we go into the future, we're seeing printed electronics as probably one of the big frontiers for us. And the printed electronics marketplace is, we have solutions from MGI currently that we can actually provide, and starting next year and the year after, you'll see more and more solutions coming out where we can embed OLED, organic light emitting diodes, into the page with printed electronics coupled with it. So I can do things like everything from a chipless RFID, which everyone know what RFID is, right? So when you go, the cost of RFID, about 95% of that cost is the chip itself. And there are organizations like Amazon. Amazon Go is actually a brick and mortar store that you can go buy some of Amazon's most commonly bought products, and you go into the store, you put everything in your bag, and you roll out, it pays automatically, and there's no cashier, right? And the way it does that is using RFID. So as a printer, RFID is important because with the chipless RFID, now we can embed the RFID or near field communications antenna directly into the printed piece at the point of production. Whether it's a book, whether it's a package, whether it's a label that's going to go on something, they can all use this technology to provide awareness.
Okay.
Even to my cell phone, I can interact with print.
But hold on, because we like to have real conversations here. So okay, fine. The value of going to that chip company is that they also have the technology behind the chip, or a way to capture the data, or a plan for it. Are the printers just supposed to print the accessibility but not have access to the other end of it, or are you suggesting that they should have all of it?
I'm actually suggesting that the ability to print it is the first and foremost most important aspect, because as it currently stands, there's a lot of infrastructure that's happening around RFID and NFC communication that is already around you, including your Apple Pay, or when you walk up to the soda machine and you pay through that. The receptors for the RFID and for NFCs are already in existence. Your phone is already active with this technology in it. So it's a matter of the demand from the public that is made by the availability of a product that really just couldn't be done before. You couldn't do it this way in the past before this product.
But what is the need for it right now?
The need for it is coming from mainly anti-counterfeiting mechanisms. So anti-counterfeiting, security, and basically product liability, and anytime you can find something around liability and regulatory, you've found money in your potential client base, right? So one of the things that's going to happen coming up here in the next year is the requirement to be able to track every bottle that's produced, let's say for a pharmaceutical, and track where it is at all times.
Okay. I mean, sometimes I just need to have the connection, and you made it for me.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, which is also why I love this guy. He helps me. So go ahead.
Yeah. So that's part of the technology. Now, the OLED technology, the OLED, is the ability to basically produce light, on my page, right? But we're also working on things like conductive electrophosphorescent inks, things where we can produce. We're laying down a conductive layer. Don't worry about these names, but conductive dielectric and a phosphorescent layer to be able to light up ink on the page without a physical light source.
Okay, but so this is
signage.
This is kind of what
packaging.
I want to get to more. Yeah. Not so much what it does, but why it's important that it can be done, and why Konica is the one. Like, if you're investing in this inks, you must see a trend in inks in the future or something.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to get at. More, not the technology part of it, but the vision part of it.
So the fastest growing market for printers in the next 10 years is in the packaging and labeling market. And so therefore, when we look at packaging and labeling and some of the requirements that are starting to come in from a regulatory perspective, that's an important driver. But also from the perspective of, think of what packaging does. When you look at, let's say, bottles of wine on a shelf, which one attracts your attention?
The shiny label.
The shiny label. It's the coating, it's the foil.
I did it 2 months ago, and I looked in my car and I'm like, oh my God, a shiny label, that's why I bought this one.
Exactly. And that shelf shout that is produced is part of it. So as we look at how to create more shelf shout, one of the things that now comes to mind is, what if that piece lights up without having to have a light source on it that produces heat?
Right.
So that's the main part of it. So we're looking at those types of technologies and using MGI and some of our inkjet heads and things like that to do some of that. Yeah.
No question? Oh, he's answering
Am I
everything.
answering as we go? Okay.
Right. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, the Printerverse is about partnerships, and no company can do everything for everybody.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about Konica Minolta's partners here at the show
Yes.
and beyond,
So our main
and also how they're helping your customers.
Absolutely. So our main partners from a hardware perspective, obviously, is MGI, and MGI is the one that produces the jet varnish and digital foil pieces that you see here. By the way, one thing I didn't mention is you can do variable holograms with it. And variable hologram is very interesting to talk about something that is protecting for anti-counterfeit purposes and things like that. Anti-counterfeit is a huge application for variable foil, but it's also just pretty cool for variable foil or variable holograph foil. So MGI Ceradrop is also an MGI company. They're the ones that are really pioneering in the conductive and printable electronics piece. And we also have partnerships with folks like Wattkus and TechNow and others that have been great partners with us. From a software perspective, we took a different path of every other company in our space, really. We decided we didn't want to build everything and create a proprietary workflow solution. So all of our software solutions, too numerous to mention now, are driven by partners. And we work with those partners to interconnect everything together so it all works nicely and plays nicely in the pool together. As we move forward, you'll see us partnering with paper companies. We already have partnered with paper companies. One of them provided those stocks that you see there, pretty cool finishes on those stocks. We're partnering with coating companies because as we start to stretch the substrates that we're printing on these days, and plastics and PVCs and things like that come to light, now coatings are becoming more and more important, not necessarily from a pre-coat perspective, but post-coating to be able to do other types of processing on those sheets. And so those are probably some of the main partners that we bring to the table.
And where do you think the growth areas are besides packaging that your technology is filling a need for?
Well, I hate to sound like old-fashioned, but so I kind of disagreed with someone that was on one of your panels yesterday.
You're allowed to.
And,
You're allowed to be wrong.
And that was direct mail. I'm sorry, direct mail is still the only form of communication.
Was Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
Dr. Joe is not happy with the post office.
Yeah, he doesn't like
mail.
he doesn't like the
post
post office, right? But the reality is, direct mail continues to grow. It continues to change. It's the only media that I can get to you, and that you're going to end up touching that you can't reject before I send it to you, right? So it still has incredible appeal. And when you can start to create finishes and do stuff that you haven't seen before, by the way, this is toner printed on top of foil.
Very cool.
Yeah, right? When you can start, you get the appearance, you get something that stands out from the rest. Do you remember when companies like Bed Bath & Beyond or Stroud's came out with the large format, the 6x9 postcard?
Yeah, I love them.
Right? And everybody loved seeing that thing because you got 20% off.
Right.
They started a trend based on a format that really hadn't been in existence before in heavy use. Most postcards were much smaller. Now everyone uses that size. It's not unique anymore, right?
Right.
Well, the same thing's going to happen with embellishment and foil and things like that in the direct mail marketplace to make it stand out. But you're also going to get interaction with electronic forms. So e-enabled pieces. And by the way, where the post office does help is in discounts when you're using QR codes. If you're doing foil, if you're doing embellishment, there are discounts in the postage for those direct mail pieces. So
you're a big believer in direct mail. You love the Every Door direct mail program and everything like that. So let's have a conversation about this. What is your feeling? Did you agree with Dr. Joe or no?
I didn't agree with Dr. Joe either. We use a lot of direct mail. It's
yeah.
Like you said, you could touch everybody for anywhere from 17 cents to 49 cents, depending on how you're mailing it. across the country. You can't get that anywhere else.
Jamie loves his Every Door direct mail program. He's always talking about a franchise. Every Door
love
direct
it.
mail, Every Door direct mail. Everyone should be
Small
doing
companies love it. I don't know why they don't use it.
I know,
They-
it's
They
crazy.
can reach everybody for 17 cents.
And you know what? It's just a matter of it's educating, right? Like what you're dedicated to, educating people on what can be used and some of the financial benefits to doing that. And I also think dimensional pieces are going to become more and more popular, where I'm sending something that's no longer a flat piece of mail. And by the way, the packaging market, that's part of the growth in the packaging market,
Yeah.
is creating small custom little
Yeah.
packages.
What about that piece of equipment in your booth that we talked about yesterday? That would be great for that.
Which one? Oh, the Colex? Yeah. That's a great piece. That's so for wide format. We have some great products from the wide format arena, and this is a flatbed cutter for wide format that can cut out very, very quickly and very effectively pretty complex patterns and just no dies required, all digital. As a matter of fact, if you go into our booth, there's the Curio Cafe. Curio is the tagline that I guess we could get global clearance for the name, but it represents many of the products. It's accurate and curious. All right. So the Curio Cafe, everything that's in there was printed on a Konica Minolta product, and it was cut out. In many cases, they were cut out by that Colex device or finished with some. And you'll even see in there's packaging examples, labeling examples. The labeling marketplace is one that we didn't really get into. We talked packaging, but commercial printers traditionally haven't done label, right? It's converters territory. And this is like the days of the Docutech back in 1991, when the big print shops saw that Docutech and said, hey, that looks like a copier. I'm not going to put that in my shop. My offset quality is much, much better, right? They wouldn't give us the time of day. And then 2 years later, when you're network connected and all of a sudden a copy shop down the street gets one of these things and it takes away a huge job, let's say a Microsoft manual or something like that from a large commercial printer, and he says, what just happened? How did I lose this business? It's because another entity, another source was able to start doing short-run, high-quality product. Well, guess what? That's happening now in the label marketplace, and we're seeing a huge growth market with commercial printers now becoming label printers. For short run, for those areas that the converters don't typically feel comfortable in. And you know what the funniest thing is, we just participated in a show down in Florida. Fortunately, it happened 2 weeks ago, and it was called the Vape Show.
Oh.
So it was all these companies that do vaping. Oh my gosh, we were the only company producing label devices there, and I would say I've never seen so many prospects.
Let me tell you something. How many print chats have I had about the print industry should be going after the medical marijuana people? You're lunatics.
Yeah.
This is $1 billion a day freaking thing. With everything has to have labels.
We are going after them.
And listen, print gives them credibility. Otherwise, they're drug dealers, and they've said it.
That's right.
They've actually said it. They said, when I have a business card, I'm not a pot dealer. I'm a professional business owner. And they are spending as much money as they possibly can on their print to show that they're credible. It's out of control, that market.
And the consumption of Cheetos goes up too, so it helps the consumer market a little bit.
Something we all know a little about. Jamie?
We have a medical marijuana plant in the next building over from us, so yeah, they're a customer. Yes,
Yes, they're a customer, a happy customer.
It's amazing how they're growing. I mean, I was in Denver the other day, and I met with two customers that they were copy shops that were going out of business, and they got tied into printing the packaging and whatnot for these for the cannabis market. Wow. It's just taken off their business. I mean, it's just amazing.
I mean, they opened it up in Las Vegas to like anybody, and they ran out of pot in the state of Arizona in like 1 hour. So it's like all those things had labels on them.
That's right.
It's medicine. It has to have a label on it. So
that's right.
There's a lot of stuff. So let's wrap it up a little here. Look into the camera and let the people at home know why they should go to your website, why they should sign up for your newsletter, why they should walk to your booth, why they should pay attention to anything Eric Holdo has to say.
Well, I'll tell you. Personally, I mean, obviously, it's a large company behind me that has been innovative and really reinvented itself from what Konica Minolta was, what people knew Konica Minolta was, maybe just 10 years ago, to where we are now. We had 3 production print devices in 2009. We now have a 16,000 square foot booth filled with them, and the software solutions that go with it. And it's because we've continued to grow market share. You know, we've grown market share in not only color production print, but in black and white. Who grew black and white production print units year over year? So I think we're doing the right things. We're attacking the things that are important to our clients. We're giving new flexibility, new areas of the market to look at, new software solutions that help differentiate you from everyone else's offering. My biggest nightmare is the race to the bottom. I was a printer, so I understand the race to the bottom, the race to the, what's the cheapest price per thousand mentality. And it's that anything we can do to hedge against that is what our goal is at Konica Minolta, to help you hedge against that race to the bottom and deliver true differentiated value that otherwise may not be deliverable. And we'd like you to come see the booth. There's a whole lot to see there. If nothing else, you can have a cup of coffee on us. And but you'll really see, I think, some innovative technologies where we've brought in from all of our different organizations. Konica Minolta is a $12 billion company globally, and we have a huge market share in the sensing arena for photometric sensing. And this new IQ system we put in is it's a spectrophotometer that doesn't read every sheet. It calibrates to 2 cameras that then read every sheet to check registration and check color. So there's just a whole new set of solutions, both in hardware and software, to come look at. And it's all there basically to help you make your job easier.
So, from working together at CPP Expo and doing a few videos, and you were on a panel of mine there, and I harassed you and harassed you and harassed you, and I harassed the rename guy, who I won't mention. But finally, Konica Minolta was ready to talk to the people. Yeah. And I am really glad that you are that representative.
Thank you.
I think that you do it with credibility, with honesty, with a viewpoint that is of the people. And I really hope that we can continue this partnership through 2018. We had a great print chat together. Konica sponsored and came and hosted a print chat.
I'll tell you what, and you opened a lot of eyes. When I showed them the results and the metrics around the print chat we had, I had people in our marketing area go, what? So, I mean, kudos to you, because it really, you've done this so well, and we're very happy to continue to support.
Thank you so much. I think your chat had 7 million impressions for the hour or something like that.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, so, and but it takes that one person who's willing to take a chance on co-hosting a Twitter chat and saying, screw it, if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with the ship,
Sure.
It takes that one person with vision, and finally it's you and we're us, and everybody benefits. So thank you so much for the coffee and snacks.
Absolutely,
for
enjoy.
Sharing your thought leadership, and I hope everybody supports the people who support the Printiverse. And all of you, thank you so much for joining us, really appreciate it. We have another panel coming up, I think, but we'll have a little break in between, and Eric will be here to mingle for a little while and give out business cards, and everybody network. That's what the Printiverse is all about.
All right, thank you
so much.